Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here with us again today. I am so excited to launch a new part of Soul Talks podcast. And that is going to be, we're going to have a guest with us on a regular basis, therapist Sheri Ryland. And so we're going to do therapy with Sheri, bringing her on with us, one, because she's fun and amazing and super wise. But also, I started this platform to open up spaces to talk about our survival journeys and some of the really hard realities in life. And I've said to you over and over again, I'm not an expert at anything. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or a counselor of any kind. I'm just on my journey and I'm sharing that. But Sheri is she is an expert. So I think you'll have a good time with her. I think you'll learn a lot and join us today. Hey. So happy to start this with you.
I'm so happy to be here. It's very exciting.
I know. Isn't it fun?
It is.
Yeah. So have you thought about where you want to take us today in our Sheriffy story?
Well, I think we were discussing about the idea of grief.
Yeah.
And how we don't really have a space for grief.
Mm-hmm.
We may have like 3 days off of work and go back and get on with your life. So I think that might be a good place to start with.
Yeah, I think that's super appropriate. I was being silly a minute ago about Sheriffy because I said that before we started filming and I can't get it out of my brain, but it is therapy. No, absolutely, because I really do think it's a perfect place to start given what the Soul Talks podcast has, where we've come from. And, it's born out of my grief journey.
Right.
And gosh, I've learned so many things along the way, most of all that there are no rules.
Absolutely.
But it is interesting. And also, from my experience, you counsel people all the time in grief. Everybody's got a journey, a grief journey.
Absolutely. Right.
They don't have to have mine, but everybody has been in grief over something. It can be a betrayal. It's a divorce. It's a business failure. There's so many things in life that send us into grief, and it's not necessarily a death. That's the first thing we associate it with.
Right. And that's because I am a trauma therapist. What I am mostly working on is a lot of different types of grief. People lose their dog, lose their friend, but also losing an identity, losing a way of life that they're used to or a dream for their future. And I think we don't give enough credit to the idea of when you're married and you get divorced and this future that you envisioned is now gone.
Yeah.
Or if you lose your job and then you have to start all over again, we don't consider that grief. I think in the American culture, we're just get over it, just get with the next job, get with whatever you need to do next. So we don't spend enough time really processing that and going through it.
Yeah. One of the questions I get all the time when I share my story, and I'm 4.5 years into my grief story from losing my husband to suicide. I'm 5.5 years into the failure of my beloved business. So a grief started there that, like you say, nobody gave me. Nobody thought about that as a grief. I think it was labeled failure.
Exactly.
But the question I get asked all the time is, how long will this last? How long will my pain last? When will it go away? So what do you say?
Well, I was going to say, even as an expert, as you said, there is no time, right? I think it just depends on when you decide to actually work through it, when you decide to really process that feeling and really allow yourself to believe that is a grief. Because so many times we don't. Well, I don't have any grief. No one died. So it just assume I don't have any. So that's why it's hard for the business piece, that no one allowed that for you. No one said it out loud. So therefore it must not be safer with your husband. That's even that we want to mark with a delineation. You should be over this by now. What's wrong with her? I don't think that there is a specific time. There's people who their whole lives, that's what, that's something that will stay with them. I think it's the process of how we bring those emotions down and bring the intensity of it down.